Hi guys, it's Joy and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, so I thought I would take this video to do a quick little chatty recap of 2025, discussing goals and the upcoming new year, 2026. I can't believe that this year is ending. Honestly, I feel like in all my 25 years of life, this year has definitely gone by the fastest. When I was little, I never really understood what it meant when my parents would tell me the older you get, the faster time flies. And now that I'm older, I definitely feel like this is true. Each year seems to somehow speed up and fly by even faster than the last. So last year I created a little bingo board for all my 2025 goals, and I wanted to reflect at least on a few of them before jumping into 2026. This was definitely the most amount of goals I've ever created on a board, so I tried to not put too much pressure on myself to complete them all. And I'm not gonna lie, there were times where I sort of forgot about this and I would come back a few months later and cross things off, or look at something and be like, oh, I have not even started that goal yet. Some of the things I think I was working on subconsciously were pushing myself to create new recipes, whether that was for baking or dinner. I would say I definitely did a better job trying new recipes for baking, just because I enjoy baking a little bit more than I do with just cooking. I think when it comes to making dinner, sometimes it's just out of convenience for me, or I have my few go-to meals that I really enjoy. So I think, what is the point of branching out and buying all these things for only one recipe? I think it can also be a little bit difficult when you're just cooking for one person. So I think that is a goal I'm going to carry into 2026. Although there were definitely a few times where I cooked up something new this year, I do want to push myself to try some new dinner recipes as well. As for baking, I think a lot of the new things I made this year I was able to capture on this YouTube channel, on Reels, TikTok, etc. And I think the one dessert I'm most proud of making this year is my 2-tiered carrot cake with a cream cheese frosting. I absolutely love carrot cake, and for some reason I have always stayed away from doing a layered cake or cream cheese frosting, even though it's literally my favorite frosting ever. I think it came out amazing. It definitely took some time, especially with shaving down all the carrots I needed, but this was definitely a big hit in my family, and I feel like I need to make it again. Another goal I had was travel related. I wanted to do at least one international trip and one domestic trip, and this one I once again tried to not put too much pressure on myself, but I figured something would happen, and I'm happy to say I'm very lucky and very blessed that I was able to do both of those things. And 2025 was definitely a big year of travel for me. I visited my friend in North Carolina, and that was the first time I had been there. Check for one domestic trip. And then as for international, I was able to travel to Mexico. I recently took a trip to Edinburgh, Scotland, and Dublin, Ireland. And during the summer, I also went to the Virgin Islands. So technically that's a second domestic trip because it's US territory. I do think if you're going to do one of these boards, it's important to have a few bigger goals and a few smaller goals, and that way you can feel motivated to keep going throughout the year. I had some small goals on my year, like book the dentist and clean out your closet, that might sound like something that's not a big deal to do, but for some reason for me, it is just the initial thought of it in my head that can really hold me back from accomplishing it. And these two goals I accomplished. I checked them off pretty much at the start of the year in January or February, and it definitely made me feel like there was a slight weight lifted off my chest, especially with the dentist one. That is something I had been putting off for so long, and after that first appointment I've been going back consistently and it's been a breeze. It's something I'm no longer afraid of going or booking or doing for myself. Wow! I think that has also definitely contributed to me feeling a little bit more put together this year. Speaking of put together, one really bad habit I've always had is not making my bed. I know that there are a lot of studies that say that making your bed first thing in the morning is really good for you, and it helps you feel more accomplished and you're starting off the day right, and like a clean bed, clean room will make you feel maybe more organized. That's just something I never really felt like doing. To me, it didn't make sense. I'm like, I'm gonna get back in this bed in a little bit anyway, so why would I make it? But surprisingly, this has been something I've been keeping up with throughout the entirety of the year. I thought maybe in the beginning of it that it would only last me a week, but then I made it through a week, and then I pushed myself to do it for a month, and then after that it just became normal routine and habit. It's something I don't really think about doing anymore. It's just when I first wake up I just make my bed, and I think those studies might be right. It does make me feel somewhat more put together if I do it. And don't get me wrong, every now and again there are a few occasions where I'm sick, like today, and I'm gonna be taking a nap in a little bit, so there's no reason to make my bed. But this isn't something I'm going to beat myself up over, and I think that's the important thing about goal and agenda setting is you're gonna have your moments where you're keeping up with your goals, your motivations, but every now and again you're allowed to give yourself an off day, and that doesn't mean it's a setback for the whole year. There were definitely a few goals on this list where I either started them but I don't feel like I've fully completed them, or it's just something that I've put on the back burner. Those are things I want to carry into 2026, so maybe I'll make a second video about creating a new vision board or a new goal bingo board. Let me know in the comments below if that's a video that you guys have interest in watching. Other than that, I feel like this has been a pretty successful year for me. Not gonna lie, I've definitely had my ups and downs regarding my emotions and how I feel about my career, social life, mental and physical health, etc. But I do think we tend to be our own greatest critics, and I have to give myself where credit is due and say I have accomplished a lot of the goals on my list, and for that I do think 2025 was a pretty solid year. Yes! I'm looking forward to 2026, and I wish you all a very happy and healthy new year. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll be back next week for a new video. Bye!